Good morning, students. In this video, I'm going to explain to you the answers of exercise B and exercise C of degrees of comparison, which was given to you for homework yesterday. Okay, so let's start with the first one. So there is something wrong in the sentences given in this exercise, and we have to identify the mistake and write the correct sentence. So the first one is, he is eldest of the two siblings. Now two siblings are compared over here. When two people or two things are compared, we use the comparative degree. We don't use superlative. So we will not use eldest. Instead, we will say he is the elder of the two siblings. Next, lead is the heaviest than any other metal. Now this is a common rule, you all know, that whenever the word than is used, before than we use the comparative degree. So instead of heaviest over here, we should use lead is heavier than any other metal. Instead of saying lead is the heaviest than, because with than we use the comparative degree, we will say lead is heavier than any other metal. Next one, this cloth is the superior than that one. Now there was a separate rule that we discussed for inferior, superior, junior and senior, that since they already come with OR, we don't use more before it, and after the word we don't use than. Instead, we use to. So we'll say this cloth is superior to that one. Two cloths are being compared. This cloth is superior to that one. We will not use more because the word superior itself is in the comparative degree, and instead of than we will use to. Let's move to number 4. Gold is most precious than any metal. Again, than is used. With than, we use the comparative degree. But this sentence over here uses the superlative degree. So we have to change the superlative degree to comparative. Let's see how we'll do that. Gold is more precious than any other metal. Now, why did I use comparative? Because we are using the word than. When we use than, we use the comparative degree. Also, we will use any other metal. We will include the word other over here because we want to exclude gold. We want to exclude the thing that we have talked about in the first place. So, we'll say gold is more precious than any other metal. Okay. Number 5. He is more inferior than you in wit. This is exactly like number 3. That we will not use more because inferior itself is a comparative word. And we will not use than. We will use to in its place. Answer will be he is inferior to you in wit. So 3 and 5 are the same. Let's move on to number 6. May is the hotter month of the year. Now May is being compared to all the other months of the year. And we are saying that it is very hot in May compared to the other months. So when we are talking about, when we are comparing May with all the other months, we are going to use a superlative degree. This is an easy one. So you know the answer will be May is the hottest month of the year. Let's see number 7. He is the smarter than the two. He is the smarter than the two. Here than is used incorrectly. We will say he is the smarter of the two. Over here of is used because when you're comparing two people, among two people, he is the smarter one. So we will not say than, we will say of because you're making the comparison in between the two people. Okay. Number 8, this is the more better thing to do. Now when we were discussing the rules, there was one rule that said that double comparatives or double superlatives should not be used. Now better is a word which is already the comparative degree of good. So there is no point of using more again. If we say more better, we are using double comparatives. And the rule that we have studied has said that double comparatives or double superlatives should not be used. So here the answer will be this is the better thing to do. Why? Why can't we write more? Because more will make it a double comparative. Alright. Number 9. Napoleon was the braver of all generals. Now Napoleon is being compared to all the generals. You know who Napoleon was, right? Now Napoleon is being compared to all the other generals, and we are saying that he is the bravest of all. Because we are comparing to all the other generals, we will not use braver, we will say bravest. Napoleon was the bravest of all generals. Why? Because we are comparing Napoleon to all the other generals. Okay. 10. I will finish this without further delay. Now, when we were discussing the rules, we discussed the difference between farther and further. Farther means when a sense of distance is being referred to. When you're talking about distance, like going far, right? So over here, if I say I will finish this without further delay, are we talking about any kind of distance? No. So the word further is wrong. We will say I will finish this without further delay. Further means any more beyond this. So I will finish this without any more delay. I will not be more late and I'm going to finish this one. So further is the wrong word. Further is the correct word. Number 11. This is the latter news. Now we did the difference between late, later and then last and latest as well. So this is the latter news. Is this correct? Latter means something which comes later. Later in position. Here, when we're talking about news, are we referring to something which comes later in position? No. We should be referring to time. So we will say this is the latest news. Okay. Next, the former is an artist, the later a singer. Now when I say the former is an artist, I mean the first person who came was an artist and the second one who came was a singer. But I have used the word later. The question says the later a singer. Now I told you later implies to time. Are we referring to time over here? No, we are referring to position. And when we refer to position, we use latter. So we'll say the former is an artist, the latter a singer. That means the first person who came was an artist and the next person who came was a singer. I hope this exercise is clear to you all. Now let's move on to exercise C. This is on page 55 of your book. We'll discuss the answers in the same way. So the first one is already done in the book. I have just copied it from the book. It says China is the most populated country in the world. Now most populated is which degree of comparison? Yes, it is superlative degree. But the question asks us to change this to the comparative degree. Now most populated. Comparative will be more populated. But you all also have to keep in your mind that this meaning of the sentence should not change. So China should still be the most populated country in the world. In order to use the comparative degree and not to change the meaning, I can say China is more populated than any other country in the world. So when I use more populated, I keep the degree same, which is comparative. But because I have used any other country, I have compared it to all the other countries, then I said China is more populated, so it means that it is still the most populated. See, the degree can be changed, but we can keep the meaning the same. Let's move on to number 2. Asia is the largest continent in the world. Now you have to change it to positive degree. Now largest is the word here. It is in the superlative degree. Positive degree of largest is large. So I can say no other continent in the world is as large as Asia. No other continent in the world is as large as Asia. This means what? That Asia is still the largest. This is how you have to make sure that the meaning does not change. Number 3. I am taller than her. So I'm comparing myself to another girl and I'm saying I am taller than her. So use the comparative degree. Now positive degree of taller is tall. So I can say she is not as tall as I am. If I say she is not as tall as I am, that means what? That she is shorter than me. So I am taller. So meaning stays the same. He is older than all other members in the club. Older is the comparative degree and you have to use superlative degree. This might be easy for all of you, I'm sure. It is saying he is older than all other members in the club and you have to just use the superlative. You can simply say he is the oldest member in the club. He is the oldest. Alright, this is simple. The teacher said that my painting was the best. Now the adjective used is best. And best is the superlative degree of good. The question says that you have to change this into positive degree. So I can write, the teacher said that no other painting was as good as mine. When I say no other painting was as good as mine, it means mine was the best. Understood? So the meaning does not change. So whenever you have to change into positive, try to start the sentence with no other. The comparison part should start with no other. That will give you a clue to it. Number 6. This knife is sharper than that. Now you have one knife and there is another knife kept. Now you're saying the knife that you have is sharper than the other one. And you have to change it into positive. You can say that knife is not as sharp as this. So sharper is comparative, positive degree will be sharp. And I have to say that the knife that I have is sharper. So I can say that knife is not as sharp as this. That means it is the knife that I have, it is still sharper. Meaning stays the same. So children, this is an exercise wherein you have to also use your logic to make sure that the meaning of your sentence does not change. Be very careful about the meaning of the sentences. Moving on to number 7. No other soldier is as courageous as he. No other soldier is as courageous as he. So courageous is positive degree and you have to use the superlative degree. Very simple. I can say he is the most courageous soldier of all. Because no other soldier is as courageous as he. That means he is the most courageous. And because we have to use superlative degree, we can simply use the most courageous soldier of all. Easy one. Number 8. This is the best book. Now you have to use comparative of best. That is better. So let's see the sentence. No book is better than this. Understood? If no book is better than this one, that means the one I have is the best. Mangoes are not as nutritious as apples. Nutritious is in the positive degree and we have to use the comparative of nutritious. When I say mangoes are not as nutritious as apples, this means what? Apples are more nutritious. So I can say apples are more nutritious than mangoes because comparative degree of nutritious is more nutritious. Number 10. The Himalayas are higher than all other mountains in the world. The Himalayas are higher than all other mountains and you have to use superlative. So, if they are higher than all other mountains, it means it is the highest. So, we can say the Himalayas are the highest mountains in the world. Very easy. Higher was comparative. We had to use superlative. So, we can simply say the Himalayas are the highest mountains in the world. Number 11. Kate is the most intelligent student of the class. Here, most intelligent is in the superlative degree. We have to change it to comparative. Now, what is the comparative of most intelligent? Yes, it is more intelligent. So, we can say Kate is more intelligent than any other student of the class. If she is more intelligent than any other student, it means she is the most intelligent. So I've kept the meaning same, but I've changed my degree of comparison to comparative degree. Let's come to number 12. He believes he is wiser than his friend. This is in the comparative degree. Wiser is in the comparative degree and we have to change it to positive. So we can say he believes that his friend is not as wise as he is. If we say not as wise as he is, that means friend is less wise. So this one is wiser. He believes that he is wiser. So my meaning again stays the same. I hope this exercise is now clear to you. Children, remember when you have to change to the positive degree, use as wise as or as good as, as should be used to keep it into the positive degree. I hope this exercise is now very clear. If you have some confusions, you can replay the video and listen to the explanation again. I hope that will make it clear to you. So now children, that you have understood both the exercises, exercise B and C, you have to do this in your English 1 notebook in the same way as I have done in these slides. You're going to write the question, then you will write the answers in the same way. Both of these exercises are your notebook work, so do it in the notebook. Thank you.